What happens when truth is declared guilty by pressure instead of evidence? What if innocence does not protect you when the crowd demands an outcome? And what if the most unjust sentence in history reveals the deepest truth of all? The courtroom is no longer just a place of questioning. It has become a place of decision. The tension that began in the night has now reached its peak. Every voice, every silence, every hesitation has led to this moment. In Gospel of John, chapter 19, verses 1 to 16, we witness the final phase of Jesus before his crucifixion sentence is declared. This is not just a legal process. It is the collision of truth, authority, pressure, and human decision. Pilate is still caught in the middle. He has already declared that he finds no basis for a charge against Jesus. He has questioned him, observed him, and found no evidence of wrongdoing. Yet the situation has not resolved. Instead, it has intensified. Jesus is then taken and flogged. Soldiers twist together a crown of thorns and place it on his head. They dress him in a purple robe and mock him, saying, "Hail, King of the Jews!" They strike him repeatedly, not as part of justice, but as part of humiliation. This moment reveals something important. Even before the official sentence is given, suffering has already begun. Pilate brings Jesus out again, presenting him to the crowd. "Look, I am bringing him out to you to let you know that I find no basis for a charge against him." Jesus appears before them, wearing the crown of thorns and the purple robe. Pilate says, "Here is the man." There is a strange contrast in this moment. On one side, physical humiliation. On the other, declared innocence. On one side, visible suffering. On the other, lack of guilt. This tension creates a moment where truth and perception stand apart. The chief priests and officials respond immediately. "Crucify! Crucify!" There is no discussion of evidence, no reconsideration of innocence, only demand for execution. Pilate responds with frustration. "You take him and crucify him. As for me, I find no basis for a charge against him." But the pressure does not stop. The Jewish leaders insist that according to their law, he must die because he claimed to be the Son of God. When Pilate hears this, something changes. Fear enters the scene. He becomes even more uncertain. He returns inside the palace and questions Jesus again. "Where do you come from?" But Jesus gives no answer. Silence enters the courtroom. This silence is not emptiness. It is depth. It is restraint. It is authority expressed without words. Pilate becomes frustrated and asks, "Do you refuse to speak to me? Don't you realize I have power either to free you or to crucify you?" This is the moment where power is openly declared. Authority speaks. Control is asserted. But Jesus responds with calm clarity. "You would have no power over me if it were not given to you from above." This statement shifts everything. Power is not ultimate. Authority is not absolute. Even in this courtroom, even under Roman rule, even in this moment of judgment, there is a higher order at work. Jesus does not deny Pilate's authority, but he places it in perspective, limited authority under greater purpose. From that moment, Pilate tries even harder to release Jesus. But the pressure from the crowd increases. The leaders push a final argument. "If you let this man go, you are no friend of Caesar. Anyone who claims to be a king opposes Caesar." This is no longer a religious argument. It becomes political, personal, threatening. Pilate now faces a different kind of pressure, not just moral tension, but political risk. His position, his authority, his security, all are now in question. So he brings Jesus outside again and sits down on the judge's seat at a place called the Stone Pavement, which in Aramaic is Gabbatha. It is preparation day for the Passover, and about noon, Pilate says to the crowd, "Here is your king." But they shout, take him away, crucify him." Pilate asks, "Shall I crucify your king?" The chief priests respond, "We have no king but Caesar." This is a defining statement. It reveals alignment, it reveals choice, it reveals priority. And in that moment, the decision is finalized. Pilate hands Jesus over to be crucified. The sentence is declared, not based on evidence, not based on justice, but based on pressure. This moment is one of the most profound reversals in the entire narrative. Innocence is declared, but not protected. Truth is recognized, but not followed. Justice is seen, but not acted upon. And yet, within this moment of human failure, something deeper is unfolding, because what appears to be a collapse of justice is also the fulfillment of purpose. Jesus is not surprised by this outcome. He has already spoken about what is coming. He has already prepared his disciples. He has already walked toward this moment willingly. This does not reduce the injustice, but it reveals that even injustice cannot escape purpose. Pilate represents the struggle of human authority under pressure. He knows what is right, he sees innocence, but he cannot withstand the external force of expectation, fear, and political consequence. This is a pattern that extends beyond this moment, because pressure often competes with truth, and when pressure is stronger than conviction, decisions become unstable. The crowd represents collective influence. When unified emotion overrides individual reasoning, outcomes can shift quickly, not always toward truth, but toward demand. And Jesus stands at the center of it all, not resisting with force, not escaping through power, but remaining steady in identity and purpose, even in silence, even in suffering, even in judgment. There is another layer in this moment that cannot be ignored: the crown of thorns, the robe, the mockery. These are not just acts of humiliation. They are attempts to redefine identity, to reduce significance, to reshape perception. But they fail to change truth, because truth is not dependent on appearance. Even when clothed in suffering, truth remains truth. Pilate's final act of handing Jesus over is both political and symbolic. It represents surrender to pressure, but also the transition into the next stage of the story, from trial to crucifixion, from questioning to execution, from judgment to fulfillment. Yet even here, the narrative is not controlled by human systems alone. Because what is happening is part of a larger purpose that none of the participants fully understand. The crowd believes they are choosing justice according to their perspective. Pilate believes he is managing political survival. The leaders believe they are eliminating a threat. But beneath all of this, something greater is unfolding. A path that has already been set. A purpose that has already been declared. A truth that is moving forward even through injustice. This is what makes the moment so powerful. It is not only about what is visible, it is about what is unseen. And what is unseen is purpose. As Jesus is led away to be crucified, the weight of the moment settles, not just physically, but historically. This is not just a sentence, it is a turning point, because what appears to be defeat is actually part of a larger story that will reshape understanding of sacrifice, justice, and truth. And in that tension between human decision and divine purpose, something profound is revealed. Human systems can fail truth, crowds can reject truth, authority can misjudge truth, but truth does not cease to exist because of rejection. It continues, it moves forward, it completes its purpose. And that is what we are witnessing in this moment. Not the end of truth, but the beginning of fulfillment through suffering. So when we reflect on this scene, we are not just observing history. We are seeing a mirror of human decision under pressure. We are seeing how fear can influence authority. We are seeing how collective voice can override individual conviction. And we are seeing how truth can stand silently in the center of it all and still not be defeated. This moment invites reflection, not only on what happened then, but on how we respond to truth now. Do we follow it when it is convenient? Do we ignore it when pressure increases? Or do we stand with it even when it costs something? Because the trial of Jesus before his sentence is not just a historical event, it is a question that echoes beyond that courtroom, and it continues to challenge every generation that hears it. What do we do with truth when it stands before us? And what happens when pressure asks us to choose differently? The answer to that question shapes more than decisions. It shapes direction. And in this moment, that direction leads toward the cross, not as defeat, but as purpose unfolding. Thank you for watching this video. If this message spoke to you, don't forget to like, follow the channel, and share this video with someone who might need this today.